native-born, where among the Asians, the income is generally higher among all groups, although, of course, among the most recent foreign-born, not quite as high as for the earlier groups. So the hypothesis is mainly accepted for both Asians and Latinos, and we're able to do this pretty powerful analysis, really, if you think of the data that need to be drawn from here, using some very simple crosstabs that students can pull off quite easily. And you can see where they would learn if they had percentaged the table the wrong way. They get some kind of screwy results, and they would really see right away that it was the wrong way to do it. So the graphics helps this in looking at this, but you also have to set up the table the right way. So this is pretty much about 80% of what you need to know about how to use WebCHIP, what we just demonstrated here. There are a few other tricks that we can perhaps tell you later, but this is most of what you really need to know. And it's also helpful for you to just plug in classroom setting, maybe one, if it's a class that it's not a methods class or a statistics class, you might want to just have a couple of sessions over the course of a semester in a computer classroom to show students how to do this, or they can bring their laptops to class. Since this is on the web, you don't even need a computer classroom if you have Wi-Fi availability. Now we're going to give you something. I guess we're going to try one more quickly, an interactive one, and then we're going to set you loose on your own. We're going to do something kind of a similar kind of analysis. Rather than look at the relationship between immigration status and income, let's look at the relationship between immigration status and education. With the same idea, it's a hypothesis that the most recent immigrants are not quite as well educated as the longer-term residents. Again, focusing specifically on Asians and Latinos. We're going to use the same data set, which have the same variables associated with it. Now we're going to make a table, rather than have the row column being earnings, the row column is going to be education, and the row variable will be education, whereas the column variable will be immigration. Before it was the row variable was earnings and the column variable was immigration. Now the row variable is going to be education and the column variable is going to be immigration. And so we're going to do education, excuse me, and immigration. And now we can just do the percent down in the table. And you can see let's see what we've done here. We didn't control for race here, I don't think so. Yeah, so there we are down at the bottom. And, you know, if you just look at those numbers, you can see that people who have recently moved to the U.S. are foreign-born since 1990. About 28% of them have less than a high school education, whereas those who are native-born, about 6% have less than a high school education. On the other hand, you might find interesting that 14% of the recent foreign-born are post-college educations, where only 11% of the native-born. So in some sense, there's a little bit of a two-tiered education structure, emphasizing both low education and somewhat higher education among the recent foreign-born compared to the earlier ones. You can look at the stacked bar chart and see that shows up just a little bit. You see the upper educated folks getting a little bit bigger wedge of the new immigrants, but still a very high number of the recent immigrants are low educated. Now let's control this for race again. Again, you can go back to the table menu and hit control. It's going to ask you what you want to control for, in this case race. Could have controlled for gender or age, but we're going to control it for race. And now we're going to also percent down, as we did before. It's just going to regenerate that table for each one of the different race and ethnic groups. And let's let the graph show us what we found from this. I'm going to do another set of stacked bars. In this case, stacked bars show education categories, not income categories like I did before. And let's focus again on Asians and Latinos. And you can see the Asians. You pretty much drive the idea that the recent immigrants are very highly educated. You can see that shows up quite sharply for the Asians. New Asian immigrants perhaps are being recruited to go into science fields and so forth, and therefore much more well educated than the native-born Asians. But on the Latino side of things, it's the it's the recent immigrants who are not nearly as well educated as the native born. So it kind of goes a little bit in a different direction, depending on whether you're looking at Asians or Latinos. Now, in some of our other data files, the stuff we've just put together from the more recent American Community Survey, you can actually look at specific Latino groups like Mexicans and Salvadorans, and particularly specific Asian groups like Korean and Asian Indians and so forth, and do this a little bit more fine-grained. This gives you, again, a broad sense that you can show students how these relationships do occur when you talk about them generally in class, and also give them an idea of hands-on analysis, so they get the feel of what social science is really like. So at this point, I think what we're going to do is try to set you loose on a topic of your own. And JP, you're going to have to tell us how the best way they can access their in-class exercise.
Yes. Well, first of all, we're going to make it available, but we do actually have the exercise here. Hopefully people can see it online now. I apologize that there was a problem with the PowerPoint. But what we're going to do is make the file available to you all, so you can download it and go through the exercise on your own. Right now, there should be a window popping up on everyone's screen that shows activity webinar February 2011 or something along those lines. If you click on that, you should be able to then download it. And you can download it, open it, and review it. What you're probably seeing behind this, though, is the basics of it. You can't fill in the slides online, but what we'll ask you to do is actually go through the DataCounts site, just as you had seen us do, and actually go through a couple quick exercises similar to what Bill had just gone through, using a few different variables.
So, and I must say, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm expecting that somebody or some people should have some questions for us, and I don't know, you can verbalize them or you can send them to us, I believe, in the chat feature. And I really do encourage that you ask us questions. No question is too simple, no question is too mundane, and because we want you to get something out of this. And if you're lost or something we can say to clarify something, please let us know.
And once again, just a reminder, if you need to unmute yourself, you can unmute yourself to go ahead and speak to us. Okay, if there are no questions or no problems, what we'll do is we'll give you a few minutes to go ahead and get started on the activity, and we'll go ahead and in a couple of minutes, maybe we'll start working through it on our own. So if you do have any problems or any questions and seem to be stuck working through it on your own, you'll see us go through it in just a few minutes, and you can fill in any of the table that you'd like to with what we present. Yeah. Yeah. Bill, can you hear me? Okay. Yep. I'll see about. All right. There's the sense that there might be a little bit of trouble opening up the data set. So first off, the individual exercise really deals with something similar to what Bill has been talking about. How does immigration affect